There was a time in the 1950s and 60s when people who regarded themselves as well-educated, sophisticated people, worldly, urbane people, thought that pornography, far from being a bad thing, was a sort of liberating thing. But now we've had 50 years and more with the pornography license. We've seen pornography spread. We've seen it move from the relatively softcore to the very, very hardcore. We've seen the growth of child pornography, which in a culture of pornography is very difficult to combat. And we've seen the effects on people, on men who use pornography, on women who are involved in the creation of pornography, on families where a man, and usually it is a man who's a husband and father, is addicted to pornography or is intensely involved with pornography. And we now see that there are enormous personal, human, social costs to pornography. It results in a coarse and base attitude towards sexuality, the objectification of women. It teaches men to treat women as mere objects, as sex objects. Increasingly, it teaches people to treat children as if they were sex objects or suitable sexual partners. So we now know a thing or two. We've learned something in 50 years, and what we've learned is pretty frightening about the nature of pornography and about the social costs and the human costs and the personal costs of pornography. So at the American Principles Project, we're going to fight pornography. We're going to show that something can in fact be done, not only by the law, although there's certainly a role for the law in prosecuting obscenity and particularly child pornography, but by churches and other private associations, just by ordinary men and women who are prepared to say enough is enough to the pornography industry and to those respectable businesses who promote pornography and who profit from pornography. We respect freedom, of course. We respect the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression, of course. But obscenity, pornography, that's not speech. It's certainly not what the founders of our country had in mind when they placed the great protection of freedom of speech in our Constitution, in our Bill of Rights. So it's time that we stopped being intimidated by the pornography industry and by those who profit from the sale of pornography. It's time to stand up for decency and for human dignity.